Oh, loyal listener, don't you dare be sour. Clap for your less than famous podcasters and feel the power. It's a new pod. Yes, it is. What's up, sharpshooters, and welcome to the Holy Shoot Wrestling Podcast, a podcast that is all about the world of professional wrestling. Coming up on today's episode, we'll be talking about the first speed bump onto the road to WrestleMania, and that is the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, where history will certainly, quote-unquote, will be made. And aside from that Samoan slaughterhouse, according to the Raw commentary, we'll be fighting among ourselves, giving more controversial opinions than a Vince Russo podcast. But first, I must introduce one of my cohorts, which is Jason. Chen will be joining us later today. And, of course, I am your host, Broderick. How are you doing, Jason?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Good to be here.
Wow, is that it? Is that it? No news this week? Nothing exciting?
Well, no, I was going to wait for you to ask me what I was planning for the week. So I'm off to I'm off to the Rev Pro high stakes show later this week, which I'm looking forward to. But it was actually quite a quiet week in the world of wrestling. I felt odd this weekend. There was no big show. There was no Worlds Collide, NXT, Takeover Kingdom, pay-per-view or anything. It was an actual quiet weekend of wrestling. So this Friday it'd be good to be seeing Will Ospreay versus Pac, also known as Neville, in person in London.
I mean, the only thing that happened, which we'll probably get into in the news, is of course the New Japan show, New Beginnings in Osaka, on the Monday morning in UK time. I think that's about it, really. I don't think there's anything else that noteworthy.
And I don't think we would have talked about that too much if it wasn't for that one particular main event match. We really wouldn't have worried about it so much. So yeah. Quite weekend. I'm sure it's going to this coming weekend, it gets busy again.
Absolutely. So that's all that we have. So we'll just move on. Before we preview the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, though, Jason and I will be talking about some of the major talking points in our news segment. It has been yet another interesting week in the world of professional wrestling. First up, we saw the AEW announcement party happen in Las Vegas last week. That was happening just prior to the recording of our last podcast, annoyingly. And it was revealed that Kenny Omega joined the promotion on a full-time basis. There were also more information on their Double or Nothing show, which I believe sold out in an hour. And they also announced a partnership with AAA, amongst many other things that happened on the announcement party or press conference or whatever you want to call it. So was all of this kind of expected, Jason?
Was it all expected? I guess it was all rumored. I mean, we talked about it before. I think most of us assumed that Kenny was going to be turning up around this time. Some people thought he might be still staying in New Japan. There was like maybe a chance that was going to happen, but I think most of us thought that was going to be the case. I think the AAA was news. I wasn't expecting anything about AAA after they already announced their partnership with one of the Chinese companies. So that was a surprise. So yeah, I mean, it sounds all positive so far.
Yeah, I thought it was quite uneventful, quite anticlimactic. I don't think they want every announcement to be major or shocking, but one thing that I did like was that they did confirm the signing of the Lucha Brothers. I know it was teased at a different promotion, and it'll suck for Impact Wrestling, but yeah, I think Pentagon and Phoenix are also great signings alongside Kenny Omega. It's just weird that they haven't had another ex-WWE name appear. I
think that's to come, right? We're waiting to see what's happening with Dean Ambrose and a few other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ambrose won't show until, if that 90-day no compete clause happens, that won't happen until July, August time anyway. So I think that would be very interesting.
I think the bit that was really interesting for me was the signing of Nyla Rose. The first trans wrestler to be signed for a major company. I think it's more this kind of thing that's going to make All Elite going to be more famous for these kind of things. Yes, they could sign a bunch of ex-WWE guys, but they really want to be seen as like the more progressive, future-looking, accepting all company. these are the kind of things that will get attention, especially if they treat people respectfully and don't go down the Vince McMahon route. And I don't think they would do that. So that was probably the biggest thing that came out of it for me, but I didn't know was going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting signing. Yeah, I like the signing. It's different, it's new, it's refreshing for a major company to do something like that. I think trans wrestling, um, it's really an unheard topic in major wrestling circles. So I think it's a very interesting signing. I can't wait to see what they do with Nyla Rose. But yeah, I will say I wish there was a few more bigger signings. It's just a selfish thing. Of course, I'm being completely unrealistic, but it's just a personal want of mine.
This is also after last week on the Ring of Dishonor where you were complaining about all the AEW sort of hype that
Yeah,
was going
I
on and
I,
like people
imme-
making up rumors.
I immediately regret that one because I had a better one up my sleeve, but we'll save that until next time I get nominated to do that. In more AEW news, Wrestle Talk revealed their the AEW's upcoming schedule, which includes a show at the Royal Albert Hall in London in August, as well as a show called All Out, which appears to be the sequel to All In, the show that happened in Chicago, and that's also expected to take place in September. All this, of course, before the potential launch of their TV show Tuesday Night Dynamite in October. Are you looking forward to them coming to London?
So is that confirmed? I mean, I don't. Is that?
It
Do
it
we
was
believe that?
it
I'm not sure.
it was exclusively revealed to Wrestle Talk. I can't I they can't really report it as fake because it'd be damaging to their earned reputation on YouTube and online. So I would expect that schedule to be true. Mainly because it did include the show in Jacksonville, which is expected to take place in June or July. I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head. But yeah, it kind of falls into line with everything else. Like TV deal probably happened in October, probably happened on Tuesday when SmackDown jumps to Fox and on to Friday nights. So even if, I mean, even if it wasn't totally true or just rumors or just fake leaks, if that's the thing, then a lot of it still does make sense.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll be interesting to see what they reveal in the coming weeks leading up to Double or Nothing.
yeah, I mean, if they are doing a show at Royal Albert Hall, it'd be really cool. I mean, for those people that don't know about Royal Albert Hall, it's an iconic London venue. WWE has been there a few times. They don't go there too often when they're in London because it's not a sort of standard arena. It's more for classical music and in the round. What is also like an issue is sometimes it's more expensive to hire that venue. So
Yep.
I was there during the UK tournament they did. I guess last year now, when we had NXT were there as well, and the tickets were pretty expensive for what was not a main roster show. It was very expensive for like what was basically Progress Wrestling and some NXT guys, and they did not get close to selling that venue out. It'd be interesting how the All Elite guys do it because in theory they would have to charge more money per ticket to cover their costs when they are probably comfortable doing and compared to their US shows. So if that's true, it'd be interesting how that all works out. They won't want to overprice it because they have less of a reputation in the UK. But it'd be a great place to see the likes of Kenny Omega. I definitely want to go and see that.
Yeah, I think when All In was their rumored locations, one of them was London. So I think there is a market over here, and I think they'll do well. To come close to selling out Royal Albert Hall. It'll be a real test of the actual interest in Europe. London, a hotbed for professional wrestling.
Yeah, and you can set the Royal Albert Hall up quite well in terms of building outwards. In terms of, I've seen a Mexican Tourism Board special lucha show there years ago, as well as the
Wow.
UK NXT stuff. And both times I've been, it hasn't been close to selling out, but you can definitely like pack people down and move them down and make the most of the lower bowl if you need to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a terrific venue, regardless, and hopefully that is true, and hopefully a load of people over here, including us, get the opportunity to watch it live. Meanwhile, we'll just move on to Japan, in particular, New Japan Pro Wrestling. And the big news coming out of the New Beginning show in Osaka was Jay White successfully defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi to become the 68th IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in what some is considering a shocking move. Jason.
I mean, I'm going to sum Jay White up based on my experience seeing him when I went to the Rev Pro show in Guildford a few weeks ago. Pretty small show, a week after Wrestle Kingdom, and Jay White was there. And I explained to my wife, okay, you know the Bullet Club, you know AJ, you know Finn, you know Kenny, these really charismatic leaders of Bullet Club. This guy is the new leader of Bullet Club, and she was very unimpressed. And I think it was just quite notable. Like he's like this guy, like just watching him do his promo, this presence hanging around, before the show, and then his matches. He's like he's fine, he's serviceable, but he's not like this same level of star. Maybe I'm being harsh on him, but
Yeah.
he's just not there for me at the moment. I mean, maybe he's going to prove everyone wrong and go on an amazing tear for the next year. But it seems I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, they've lost most of their English-speaking talent, and they had that plan to expand to the United States. But of course, they've lost Cody, they've lost the Young Bucks, they've lost Kenny Omega now. They managed to keep a hold of Kota Ibushi, which is really good. But
I mean, but Jay White has no real US presence, right? I guess he talks English and he's from New Zealand, but he's not like he's got a name in the US.
no, but mm, I could go on about. I think we're trapped in our own little bubble, and
Yeah,
we rate New Japan names way too highly to think that they actually make an impact in the US market, when in fact casual audiences barely know who Kenny Omega is.
I also think it's funny if you think about it. Who else could they put the belt on? It could go back to Okada. Who?
I it wouldn't surprise me if well, so basically haven't watched the match, so I can't really comment on the match, but I watched the promo that Jay White did in the ring and in the press conference after. I was actually really impressed for the first time he showed something to me in terms of a character. But one of the things that was said in said press conference is that the next show he clearly won't be defending in, because it's one of the New Japan Cups. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Apologies, dear listener. But he did say that the next show after that will be in Madison Square Garden, the night before WrestleMania. He's expected to defend the title then. I think I read quite a few rumors that's going to be a rematch between Jay White and Kazuchika Okada, and it wouldn't surprise me if Jay White is transitional champion. But at the same time, they need to build up an English-speaking face of the company, because they have like all this investment going internationally. They've put a lot of money going over to the United States. So I don't know where they go from here. But the one thing I will say is people have said that about certain New Japan talents before. Like that guy, Kenny Omega, he took over from AJ Styles. What? Really? And he became one of the hottest. He became one of the hottest things in professional wrestling. So, breathe with a switchblade, Jason.
Yeah, I'm willing to give him a
With the
chance.
switchblade.
I want to see how it goes. I'm just not impressed so far.
I think the other thing is he's only been in the business properly for about 4 years. So, he's got a long way to go, but that's absolutely fine because he's only been there for 4 years, and to be that good in the ring after 4 years is very impressive, very impressive. So
Yeah, because I know he did the proper he did the proper Japanese like young boy training. He went through the
yeah,
proper
young
school and
lion.
everything. So yeah, he was a young lion. So as I say, he might prove me wrong, but at the moment, I've yet to sort of be that wowed by him. But maybe he can prove me wrong, and hopefully he does.
If I'm going to be Steve Austin and have the bottom line here, in Gato's booking we trust. That's all I got to say. So anyway, lastly, following on from Monday Night Raw, it appears that Charlotte Flair will be added to the main event of WrestleMania 35, much to the backlash of the WWE fans, or WWE Universe, whatever you want to call it.
They are the universe.
I had We Are the World come into my head there. That's strange. Anyway, so yeah, much to the backlash of the WWE Universe, it's now probably the most disliked video on WWE's YouTube channel. I hated the angle, but that's more not to do with the performers or the fact that it's Charlotte Flair being added to the main event. It's more the fact that they made Becky Lynch look weak. Becky Lynch got booed this weekend, but even I'm surprised by the huge amount of backlash following that closing angle.
There's two sides to this in my head. One is this is a classic old school angle, same for Stone Cold or anyone else, where you've the heels put everything stack the deck against the big face that they want to get over, and that's what they're doing with Becky. It's just so obvious and telegraphed that it's a bit annoying now. There's no real subtlety to this at all. It's almost like they're trying too hard. And then, I mean, Charlotte's amazing in the ring, and those three together are going to have a really good match. And will it be better than if it had been Becky v Ronda for 10, 15 minutes, rather than having Charlotte in there and then being able to like play around with the order a bit more? I'm not sure which match would have been better. I think I would have just preferred Becky v Ronda just because it would have had more like I think chemistry. There would have been more drama in the whole staging of that match. But I think it might even be a better match with Charlotte in it.
I don't know if it will be a better match, only because we haven't seen Ronda work a triple threat match before. Not that I'm aware of. And judging by what past veterans have said, they hated the triple threat match. Like Steve Austin was one proponent to the triple threat match. He does not like the triple threat match. I've heard him talk about triple threat matches.
It's all good, right? One of you always takes a break eventually. It's just like
I understand why there is a fan backlash, because, you know, we all want to see Ronda versus Becky. Ronda versus Becky was the hottest thing going to Survivor Series. It's one match that we all want to see, and I understand the fan backlash, but for me, it kind of makes sense that Charlotte Flair gets added. And Charlotte Flair gets added in a slimy way. I just didn't like... I'm not sure how to improve it, if I'm honest, so I can't be that critical.
I guess you have to look at it. If they kept Becky v Ronda and then added Charlotte in, it wouldn't have worked. I don't know if that would have worked, but instead now Becky's fighting to get back in the match, and that makes more sense for the next month or two, whatever they need to do. You know, they can definitely do more and get the crowd behind Becky in that element. So maybe this is a way to get her super over. And I
think some other people are saying it's a way for Ronda to get cheered again. Which is smart and done at the same time, because they actually managed to get Becky booed on this angle. Did you hear thought that would be possible this time last week?
Did you hear, apparently after Raw, Becky and Ronda were tag partners in the dark match?
They did record them having a brawl with the Riot Squad. I'm not sure if it was actually a proper tag match. I didn't know.
Either way, it was the dark segment of those two teamed together.
I can't trust them. I can't trust Raw booking.
It's funny because Charlotte and Becky should both be over on SmackDown as well, and they're both there coming over on Raw.
Yeah, I have nothing against Charlotte being out in the main event, in all honesty. The way I see it is the triple threat. I don't know why, but in my own mind, it actually makes more logical sense, because the real rivalry there is between Becky and Charlotte. I think Charlotte being added is a way to really piss off fans, and it had to happen. It had to happen. And it does save Ronda from getting more booed. I don't really know.
I think it's too early to say, right? We've got 50 days or so, depending when we put this show out. Around 50 days till Mania. They've got 2 pay-per-views until then. They obviously need to be thinking about what they're doing. I think ultimately, I'm holding out hope that they make this work.
They are advertising Charlotte versus Becky, don't you, at Fastlane?
Yeah, well, that would make sense. That would be a headline match.
Yeah. So I don't know. And people were saying it's either to replace, or it's either for Becky to be added into the match. And let's be honest, it'll be added into the match. But I think the one major takeaway that I got from this is more McMahons. They haven't listened. The new era.
Yeah, it's not quite what we were promised, is it? But there we go. No. I think Becky needs to go and get Joseph Parks to be her lawyer, and she needs to sue them, because she was meant to get a main event after winning the Rumble, and they've taken that away for no clear reason and broken a contract. So I'd be suing them for all of their McMahon money.
But they already did that for WrestleMania 25 and Randy Orton. So, you know. Yeah.
He should have sued them as well. Just because he set the wrong precedent doesn't mean she can't sue. She could be rich in a few months.
And in AEW... No, I'm joking. Anyway, that wraps up the news for this week. Up next, after this short advert, will be our Elimination Chamber preview for 2019.
This podcast is affiliated with the WWL Meetup Group. WWL, or Watch Wrestling London, get together with many fans to watch pay-per-view replays on Monday nights and attend live events across London, be it WWE, Progress, Rev Pro, Eve, and many more. It's a great way to watch wrestling with friendly people, and all are welcome to join. You can find out more at watchwrestling.london, or just Google Watch Wrestling London and you'll find the meetup page.
So, that was an interesting WWL ad there, Jason. So what's coming up on with the WWL?
So the next event will actually be the Elimination Chamber meetup on Monday evening at Belushi's London Bridge. It's all on the meetup page, and expecting a good crowd for that event.
So they just search Watch Wrestling London.
Just search Watch Wrestling London or go on meetup.com. Easy enough to find.
Fantastic. And am I invited to this event?
You're not invited because you're currently barred from all WWL events based on your previous behaviour. But I think, but Chen is of course invited, and that seems like a
Yay!
good time.
Oh, holy shit! It's Chen, guys! Chen, you finally made it to the pod.
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
You missed the news segment and the general banter.
I know, and I just want to say I'm so happy that the cutthroat era is still out there and expanding. You know, Jay White champion. Yeah.
I'm thinking about Chen would like Jay White because he likes Baron Corbin, and he's also a lank-head, pasty white guy that's quite tall. So I was thinking,
Chen's got a type.
Yeah, Chen has his types. Anyway, how are you, Chen? Apart from the Jay White thing.
Good. Just counting down the days till I'm in Marrakesh partying. You know.
Ah, Marrakesh. Really nice. Never been, but I heard it's pretty good.
Tune into Instagram story to find out what I get up to.
Oh, do you want to plug your own Insta account?
Crazy Chen 7.
Gen 7. I'm Brod Sutherland, by the way. Jason, do you want to plug your Instagram account, or do you want to keep that private?
No, I'm good. I'm
a
man of mystery.
You're not really, but anyway. So I'm going to move on, and this segment is, of course, our Elimination Chamber preview. As you know, it's happening this Sunday. Not that you know, actually, thinking about it, if you watched Raw this week, but that's another point for another time. Anyway, there are 7 matches on the card in total, including the pre-show. So before we get into the 2 big chamber matches, shall we just quickly go through the rest of the card?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with the pre-show, and we see Buddy Murphy defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Akira Tozawa. Is Murphy retaining here? I'm going to start with you, Chen.
Yeah, he's definitely retaining. I mean, I don't really care about this match, but I really kind of want Murphy to lose the title, because after seeing what they done with Mustafa Ali on SmackDown, I think Murphy should also get like a main roster push as well. Because I think he's that good. Yeah,
I kind of like him though as 205's best kept secret, because I just, the way that Raw and SmackDown have apart from Heavy Machinery, the latest set of call-ups have not been treated well so far. So it's quite damning that Mustafa Ali, a 205 guy, has probably been the best call-up. It's quite weird. Jason, your thoughts about this match?
Is it confirmed this is definitely on the pre-show?
It's confirmed on the very accurate Wikipedia.
Cool. I mean, I assumed it was, but I hadn't seen it definitely confirmed. I assume Buddy is winning this match. I'm impressed. I'm enjoying Buddy's work from what I see of it. He always has great matches. I'd like to see him stay in 205, but they need to maybe bring some new faces in there as well. But yeah, I see him retaining this.
I also see Buddy Murphy retaining. I'm kind of glad this is on the pre-show. I know the guys deserve the main card, but the pre-show gives me an excuse to watch the cruiserweights. So, and actually, I quite like the cruiserweights on the pre-show. It's actually something entertaining as a warm-up. So yeah, Murphy retains. So from something that is on the pre-show to something that probably deserves to be on the pre-show even more is Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman. Does anybody care? Jason, do you care?
So this is a no DQ match now, right? I think that's what I've heard. So that's the rumblings I've heard. I have to get that confirmed. But I don't
Oh,
know
it
how
is
much.
no disqualification. Oh, god
Yeah, I
damn it.
mean
That's ruined my notes.
that makes it interesting because Drew Barrymore McIntyre has no other sort of plans at the moment, so this could be the time that Baron actually wins due to outside interference or help from his friend, his fellow tall, lanky, like pale guy. I guess not as lanky, he's got a bit more muscle. But yeah, I think we could see actual Baron Corbin win this match.
Oh, that's very interesting. Chen.
No, I don't care. Even though I'm a big Baron Corbin
You're a
fan,
Corbin fanboy, you don't care.
You're a
but it's just
Corbinista.
I'm looking at this match and I'm just thinking, what the fuck happened to not Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman's big push? Like, last he was so being pushed down our throats and everything, but now come WrestleMania time, he's not really doing anything.
I wonder if they're looking at him now, they're realizing he can't be a long-term like main event champion, but he's like more of a feature guy, like more like the classic Big Show, Andre the Giant, big man type thing, where they just have him do impressive stuff.
Cause I think it was, there was rumors going around that backstage that Braun Strowman was pissing off a lot of people and he was gonna get punished and everything. And I think this is the only reason this is why Strowman's so low on the card right now. He went from main eventer to pretty much opening a show.
I thought that those rumors were debunked.
I don't know. I'm not too sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's true. That's the only reason I can think of Braun Strowman's push.
Or lack of.
Not even lack of push, sorry, yeah.
I just think he's a bit of an odd man out at the moment, but we'll see what settles in. I just see him and Drew doing something at Mania at the moment.
Yeah, I was surprised this wasn't a tag match between Corbin and McIntyre versus Strowman and Angle.
I can see Fastlane in the horizon with that
Holla,
match.
holla, we got a tag team match player. Yeah, I think no DQ opens it up for Baron Corbin, but the last time I checked the odds, Braun Strowman's a massive favourite for this match, so yeah, I'm going Strowman all the way. So, from one big guy to another, and Bobby Lashley is defending his Intercontinental Championship match in a handicap match alongside his partner Leo Rush against the not-so-Demon King Finn Balor. Will Balor pin Leo Rush to become Intercontinental Champion, or will Lashley retain, or will Balor pin Lashley? Brilliantly worded stuff there from me.
I'm trying to work this one out because it's weird. So it's a handicap match, but is Leo Rush there to eat the pin? Then how does that work with Bobby and Lashley? Where does Finn go next? Trying to look ahead. It's a weird one. I don't know where they're going to go with this. Is it?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
So I think that's the plan, is for Balor to win the Intercontinental Championship. There's been rumours of a push. They're definitely not going to put the main strap on him, and I think the reason why is because they want Seth Rollins to become Universal Champion at WrestleMania. So that opens up the Intercontinental Championship scene.
I love the idea of Finn having the IC belt.
I love it too. I mean, I don't have anything against Lashley holding it, weirdly. I think Rush does a great job of putting Lashley over as a heel.
Yes, he does. I'm a big fan of Bobby Lashley. I'm a big fan of Leo Rush as well. And I'm really excited for this match myself. And do I think Finn will finally win another title? Yes, I do. Because, apart from that one day reign as Universal Champion, it's been, almost 2 years since he had another title on him.
2.5.
2.5, yeah. So I think it's time they put the Intercontinental title on Finn Balor. And I think Leo Rush will be the one to get pinned. But I'm also excited to see just Leo Rush in action because he's a really, really good wrestler as well.
Yeah, he's very entertaining, very electric. I think he'll entertain the fans. I think he'll show up Bobby Lashley, which will probably be the downside of his involvement, but
yeah,
who knows? Jason, do you think it will be a clean? Is it a clean sweep for the pod? Finn Balor is Balor.
It's hard. I'm a bit. I'm not totally sure on this. I mean, I want Finn Balor to win, and I can see him beating Rush, and I'd love Finn Balor to be like a year-long IC champion or something, and do the sort of be the workhorse of the division, do something there. So that's it, guys. I'll go with Finn because I'm a Finn fanboy.
Just a quick question: if Rush is the one who ends up pinning Balor, Bobby Lashley's still champion,
Oh,
right?
that's an interesting point.
No. I think, judging by previous precedent, where I think Mr. McMahon has won the ECW title via handicap match. Actually, that would be a heel, but I think one of the world titles has changed, like in a 6-man tag match before, and it was like Randy Orton pinned Shane McMahon to win Triple H's WWE title, and I think that was not long after WrestleMania 25. So. Yeah.
Okay.
That's an interesting point. Imagine that.
So I think it is possible that Lashley will lose the title if Finn beats Rush, and then probably at Fastlane they'll have a rematch or something screwy where Finn gets stripped of the title, something like that before WrestleMania, and Finn wins it again. I think that could be the direction they're going. But yeah.
One of the things you also have to look ahead to at Mania is they like to do some giant multi-man match, and they don't do the Money in the Bank anymore. So they always, the ISC or the US belt having 6 people competing for it. And I can imagine I can imagine Finn defending the IC belt in a 6-man or something.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I as a person going to WrestleMania, that is making me very excited right now, sexually. But anyway, Jason's
he laughs like he's joking, but we can see it's not a joke.
It really isn't, guys. It really isn't. But what is a joke is Ronda Rousey's match with Ruby Riott. We already know that Ronda Rousey is pretty much heading to WrestleMania and going to main event. There is absolutely no chance of her losing to her Raw Women's title to Ruby Riott. Keep that in the pod, Jason. Do you agree that this is the most pointless match on the card?
Yeah, it is a pointless match because we all know what the results is going to be. I'm happy for Ruby Riott to getting a title shot, and I'm a big fan of her. But yeah, on the road to WrestleMania, Ronda's not going to lose the title. And that's the problem. It's just so predictable.
Jason?
It ties into this. When you look at the storyline, everything is like Ronda Rousey hang around after WrestleMania, and now that she's having this match with Ruby, she's pretty much had the match with every single credible female on the Raw roster at this point. I'm glad Ruby's getting the match. I can't see there's no way she's winning the belt, right? I don't know. There's some sort of, if this leads to some sort of shenanigans, Becky making a point or something, but I think now Becky's more focused on Charlotte, so it's probably just a Ronda looks strong, beats Ruby kind of match.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case. Do you think Charlotte will get involved post-match, considering she has a ticket for the event?
Yeah, sure. SmackDown? I'm sure she'll get in the ring after the match.
Yeah.
And they'll have a point towards the WrestleMania sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Becky does a Roman Reigns entrance and starts getting booed like she did on Raw and apologizes. I can see it all happening. I don't really give a crap about this match, to be honest, or this angle.
I think it'll be a fun match, though, because Ruby's good and Ronda keeps putting
out.
Yeah, they're both great wrestlers. That's what I'm saying. I'm more in tune I'm just going to watch it because of Ruby Riott.
Yeah, I think you're right, guys. I think the match itself will actually be pretty good. Ronda always shines on the biggest stages, and
mainly in the pay-per-views.
Yeah. Ronda is pay-per-view queen as far as I'm concerned. And Ruby Riott, she's been absolutely fantastic all year, despite the mediocre stuff given to her. So yeah, it's a shame for Ruby that she's like the fourth wheel almost in this Ronda storyline, but yeah, hopefully that's a good match. And hopefully the following match will happen, as we've got some breaking news about one of the Usos. He got arrested. This is according to TMZ. Just to read the story out briefly. WWE superstar Jimmy Uso, one half of the popular Usos tag team, was arrested after a drunken dispute with cops in Detroit. The 33-year-old Jonathan Fadu and his wife, fellow WWE superstar Naomi, were pulled over near downtown Detroit after cops say Naomi was driving the wrong direction on a one-way street. According to police sources, cops say their 2018 Dodge Journey reeked of booze, so they ordered Naomi out of the car. We're told while Naomi talked to cops, Jimmy got out of the car despite commands from police and took off his shirt and jacket and squared up like he wanted to fight. We're told the officer took out his taser because he was scared for his safety. Jimmy ultimately settled down and complied with their commands. Then he was handcuffed and arrested for disorderly conduct and obstruction. He was taken to jail, or the Uso Penitentiary. That was not part of the report, and later posted bond. Uso is not in Detroit for a WWE event. The Usos, of course, are scheduled to take on The Miz and Shane McMahon for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at Elimination Chamber. So, this is not the first time an Uso has been arrested. I think Jimmy Uso actually got arrested prior to last year's Royal Rumble event, and he did feature. So, do you think...
Sorry, was it Jimmy or Jay last time?
I believe it was Jimmy, but I can't say for sure. So,
when did this happen?
The report has only come through an hour ago, Chen.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so this is literally breaking news. So yeah, arrested. Yeah, so
It was Jay last year. Actually, this is like weirdly about a year apart. It was. I just had to quickly look it up.
Yeah,
Jay
yeah.
Uso was arrested on the 16th of Jan 2008
yeah,
for a DUI.
locked up by DUI. He was locked up by I can't rap.
So it's almost like it's close to an anniversary, so maybe they were celebrating that last one. Who knows?
Hey, Jay, look what I just did.
I mean,
bitch.
I think the match is still happening. I mean, he's not like he's in jail. He's going to have to deal with that, post some money or whatever he's going to have to do for it being a first offence. Not ideal for him. So I think.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a bit stupid what he tried to do to score up to a cop and take off his shirt.
Like, yeah, that always works out well, doesn't it?
Weather.
Okay, like that was stupid and everything like that. Like no one's above the law. Come on. But yeah, I still think the match will happen.
I don't think this is the end of the McMiz relationship just yet. I think they have to defend the belts here. I think the split I think whatever they're doing with this storyline, I think their split's going to be at Fastlane. They've got to work something out. But I'd imagine they're defending the belts here to build that storyline a bit more.
Yeah, so that was the question I was also going to ask you, Chen. Will this be the end? Will this be the beginning of the end of McMiz or the end of McMiz? Or how do you see this storyline panning out?
I think originally I thought maybe like they would lose the title, but now because of this breaking news story, I can see Vince just being like, no, you're being stupid. You're representing the WWE as well. I was going to give you guys the title, but no, I'm not. I'm going to punish you for bad behavior. So, and maybe The Miz and Shane might lose the titles on SmackDown to another tag team.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, Sanity are still around, right? The Colognes are still around.
Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows' contract's coming to an end. They might just quickly put the title on them and convince them that, can you guys
revival.
Sign a new contract.
I could just see a match at Fastlane where the Bar win the belts back, and that's the end of Miz and McMahon. But let's see what happens, I guess.
So I personally see them retaining. I think Shane and Miz's breakup will happen at WrestleMania. I don't see it happening at Fastlane. It'll give something to talk about at Fastlane if they do. So I'll be glad if it does happen at Fastlane. But at the same time, I don't really want to see a Miz versus Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania. So where I see this going is a split happening at Mania. I think it'll be WWE would be pulling the trigger too quick on this story. I think, and it's still got to face a couple of other tag teams as well before it ends. So that's how I see it. I could be wrong. So, talking of WrestleMania is a history-making event, and history will be made at Elimination Chamber. Although, again, not that you would know it, given how poorly booked the following match is. But yes, we'll see the crowning of new women's tag team champions for the first time since 1989, where the belts existed in the old WWF. The Boston Hug Connection, Nia and Tamina, aka the Samoan Slaughterhouse, I think that's a nickname. Riot Squad members Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan, the Iconics, aka Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, Naomi and Carmella, as well as Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, are the 6 teams competing to become the first women's tag team champions in 30 years. But apart from your predictions, gentlemen, will this match be any good?
Wait, is Sasha okay to compete?
Yeah.
Wasn't she an injury?
They cleared her.
Okay.
Chen, do you want to go first?
Nia.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The face breaker fanboy has struck again. You don't even like Nia. You just like trolling people.
I just love Nia Jax. I love her character.
Why? She's I mean, she's good at the Royal Rumble, which is surprising. But even then, she managed to injure R-Truth. She's a botching machine. Like, I'm not sure how you can endorse someone that is potentially
Everyone makes mistakes.
just she makes more mistakes than anybody else by considerable distance. She
Listen,
is probably the
sometimes,
biggest botcher I have ever seen and not get the boot.
sometimes it's not about investing in the wrestler; it's investing in the character. And I love Nia's character.
You're the only one who does, but
And that's what's the beauty about being a wrestling fan. Freedom of speech. I can support whoever I want.
I ain't rejected freedom of speech, and I'm glad that Nia has a fan or two. I just think she's terrible. But we're not here to talk just solely about Nia Jax. Yeah. I'll start, actually, on what I think this match will be, and I think it will be absolutely rubbish.
Wait, is this in the Elimination Chamber?
Yes, it's the Elimination Chamber, mate.
Okay.
It's inside the Elimination Chamber.
Just throw people into the bulletproof glass.
Oh, man. So...
And again,
Okay. So I think this match will be rubbish due to the fact that it's nothing to do with gender or anything like that. It's more to do with the fact that they had a tag team championship match inside the Elimination Chamber in 2015, the one that New Day won, and that match was awful. It was cluttered. It just wasn't very good at all. It was kind of... It just was full of jobbers as well, and this match is full of women that aren't as good, and it's really highlighted. Tamina is a charisma vacuum. Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan will improve. Carmella has improved. Mandy Rose will improve, but that'll take some time.
I think this will be good for Sonya Deville as well. Sonya Deville will shine in this match.
Yeah, but I think the point I'm getting to is 4 of
You
the
don't
12
think the match
women
will be great?
are women that you could consider really good, and that's quite a depressing stat when you think about it, which is, Sasha Banks, obviously, Bayley, obviously, Naomi, she's an absolute veteran, and Sonya Deville, who's really impressed me with her work over the past few months. Jason, what are your thoughts on this
I
match?
completely disagree with you, Brod. I'm really looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be really fun. I think there's going to be less clutter than the men's tag team chamber they did the other year. I think they're going to plan this out a little bit more. I think you've got to factor in the Boss and Hug Connection are starting this match. I can see along the way, we'll get the Iconics, Naomi and Carmella, not lasting as long. I can see Boss and Hug being there at the end against Nia and Tamina. And between those two teams for who becomes the first ever tag team champs, I'm trying to think of what they then do after this in terms of, do they put the belts on the Hug and Boss because it's a great storyline thing to do, or do they put it on Nia and Tamina and then have them do a rematch at Mania?
I think this will be Sasha's heel turn.
Oh, yeah, you said this before. I don't see that at all at the moment. I think this is really fun though.
I mean, a few people have said that, but why do you think Sasha will turn heel in this match?
I think it's because of her frustration, just always losing or having nothing to do and everything.
So
and
this is Sasha will lose.
And I'm saying, and one of them, they will lose the title. They won't win it, but and then eventually Sasha will take her frustration out on Bayley.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
who do you think will win, Chen?
Nia
and Tamina. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree with you, Jason. I think it's going to come down to Bayley and Sasha against Nia and Tamina. I think they're the two teams that they're going to build towards on Raw. I think Bayley and Sasha win because they want, I think with WWE, they usually go for champions that are solid, that are good wrestlers to begin with. They gave the Universal Championship to Finn Balor first, and then Kevin Owens immediately after. The SmackDown Women's Championship went to Becky Lynch when she was the first champion there. The Cruiserweight Championship went to TJP, and for all his faults, he was very solid in the ring. So, they always go with more than solid superstars, and I think Bayley and Sasha are combined the best team. So I think they're going to go with them just by that sort of logic that WWE has when it comes to booking its first champions of sorts.
Well, I'm going to go with Nia and Tamina win this match and the belts because I think they want a really nice feel-good opener for the Mania show, and that's when the Boss and Hug win the belts in the
So
opener.
I don't think Nia and Tamina versus Bayley and Sasha will happen at Mania. The rumor has been for quite a while that they want Trish and Lita to be a team for WrestleMania, and I think it will lead to Bayley and Sasha versus Trish and Lita.
That is a good point.
I also think which set of women they would want to go between Raw and SmackDown, because that's a rumor that, the report, should I say, that WrestleVotes tweeted out earlier that there's going to be more integration between the two women's divisions, and that the women's tag team champions will be the gateway. And I think, really, again, it's a workhorse sort of thing. And if you look at the two best workhorses in that match, they're Bayley and Sasha. So I'm thinking about it more of a book in long term, heading Mania and post Mania. I would think they really do want to push this Boss and Hug connection thing, and I think that's why we didn't see Bayley versus Sasha last year. So I think Bayley and Sasha win. Anybody want to add anything else before we move on to the main event?
I just like to say, I think it's going to actually be a really fun match, and it's probably the one I'm going to enjoy the most on the show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match as well. And it will start off by the Iconics kind their usual promo before a match starts.
Hey, look, I want to be wrong. So, I have low expectations. If they surpass that, then I'm one happy boy. I tell you that. And I think, that are potentially good or really good. So can't really complain too much at the end of the day. But This is the match I'm looking forward to the most, Jason. And I think this match will be main evented because these 6 superstars put on one hell of a show on SmackDown in that gauntlet match. And if you haven't watched it, ladies and gentlemen, because, you don't have enough time, make time for that hour. It's probably the best hour of wrestling you'll see all week. I'm not going to lie to you. But this match, I'm really looking forward to. Daniel Bryan will be defending the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber against AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, and Kofi Kingston. And again, aside from your predictions, I have one question for you fine fellows. Do you believe in Kofi Kingston following that gauntlet match?
No.
He's a very talented individual. He's really, really good, but he'll be the first to get eliminated.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I genuinely think they might be teasing something here.
Yeah, I'm not buying in. He's a great athlete.
I'm surprised they went with Kingston though instead of Big E. That would have been more believable.
I think it's because, judging by the way it's interviewed, the New Day are interviewed, should I say, they've always kind of viewed Kingston, Big E and Xavier Woods have always kind of viewed Kingston as a veteran, and they want Kingston to be a world champion. And I think they said something along the lines as, well, if Kofi wins the WWE champion, we're all WWE champion because we want Kofi to be WWE champion. He is, I think, the most successful black man in WWE history. Even more so than Booker T with the amount of titles he won. So he's been there for over a decade now. Like since 2008, he's been on the main roster. I, for one, think it's ridiculous that he's never been pushed to the main event scene.
He was at one point, but didn't Randy Orton stop his push?
That was the moment when he had a feud with Randy Orton and had a great match at the end of a Survivor Series, and that's when Kofi was his hottest, and that's when people were saying he should have got pushed and they just didn't go with him, and that was a long time ago.
Yes, yeah, it's annoying to see. It was really annoying because he became this more vanilla babyface until New Day essentially happened, and when New Day turned heel. I don't think Kingston's winning in a long shot. Don't get me wrong. I think he could be down to the final 2, which I would like to see. I really want to see a vegan heel Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston and New Day and all their consumerism with their cereals and pancakes and all that. I would love to see a feud, just even for Fastlane, because it'll be something different away from AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, And, we don't need Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy in the main event anymore. I would love to see Bryan versus Kingston at Fastlane. I don't think it'll be a Mania match. Yep.
I'm just gutted though that Mustafa Ali cannot participate in this match.
Yeah.
I really like what he was doing since he got called up. It's just sad that he can't be in this match. I'd like to see a Spanish Fly. I'd love to see a special move on the bloody metal floor if he could do it. But sad thing. But Kofi's still good. He'll be great in this match. He's very athletic, as we all know, and very creative. It'll be a good match.
I think all 6 men are freaking awesome to their various the way they've built this on SmackDown feels fresh, feels different. I think.
Who do you want to win?
Honestly, I never thought I'd be saying this, but Kofi Kingston. I did not. If I'm honest, before this match, before Kofi was put in, I wanted Mustafa Ali to win.
I want Samoa Joe.
I don't blame. Listen, if any guy except for probably Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton too, but the other 4 guys, if any of them left with the WWE Championship, I'd be very happy. I see Bryan retaining, by the way. But Bryan, Styles, Joe, Kingston, if any of them left with the WWE title, I think that'd be fantastic. But I see Bryan winning thanks to the help of Eric Rowan.
Yeah, Bryan will win.
So the way I'm looking at this is Daniel Bryan wins this match, and the big name not in this match is Rey Mysterio. I think they're going to end up moving towards Daniel Bryan with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, and it will be amazing. But I also think this match will set us towards the AJ Styles versus Randy Orton match for WrestleMania. So I think there'll be enough going on here where one of them will blame the other for costing them the match, or AJ eliminates Randy Orton, and then Orton RKOs AJ and Daniel Bryan wins, something like that.
The rumor at Fastlane is Bryan versus Styles versus Joe.
Yeah, that'll be a great match.
Yeah, but I've already seen AJ feud with Bryan as Joe, so I don't really. Unless it's on Samoa Joe face.
You need a face versus Daniel Bryan at Mania, and we can't go back to AJ Styles.
Samoa Joe.
They're not going to put Jeff Hardy there. Kofi's not going to go there. So Rey Mysterio is the man who's coming in for Mania. So Daniel Bryan has to win and defend that lovely belt.
But what about Andrade?
Well, him and Rey have had those great matches, but they can put him in with Jeff Hardy or Kofi or anything. I think Rey's the man for Daniel Bryan at Mania.
I don't see Rey facing Daniel Bryan.
No, I don't.
I think they want a Rey versus Almas match at Mania. I think that's the last thing I heard. They really want that match to happen. So I don't see that happening. I don't know where they're going to go with Daniel Bryan, because for a long time I suspected it'd be Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, and it's not going to happen. So, either way, whatever happens on SmackDown after this match will be fascinating. And imagine if they went SmackDown well worth watching.
Imagine they went down this weird storyline route where McMahon and Miz stay together, but say they lose the belts, but now Miz stays face and Shane sets him up to fight Daniel Bryan at Mania.
That
would be great.
But that would be abuse of authority, and Miz would get booed, wouldn't he?
I don't know. No, I think the crowd would be well into it.
Yeah, I would not be against another Bryan versus Biz match, just with all the history.
Miz is wasting himself in the tag division. He should be a main eventer.
Oh, I agree. But yeah, so we're all agreeing that Daniel Bryan wins, right?
Yeah, Daniel Bryan beats AJ after the RKO from Randy Orton after he's eliminated. I'm planning it all out.
Also, I will say this. Do you remember that one Elimination Chamber match where Kofi Kingston, before he entered the pod, got beaten up by Edge and Edge replaced him?
Yeah.
Yep.
I can see that happening again for some reason.
You think Edge replaces Kofi?
No, someone will.
Out comes Tony Chimmel just for the announcement of the new WWE champion, the Rated R Superstar. Yeah, I would love to see that actually in a weird way, but no, it would be interesting if something like that does happen just prior to the Chamber match.
It's interesting. We generally agree on a lot of the outcomes, but it still could be a fun show, but I think we're just looking ahead a bit and seeing what's going to happen and not expecting too many surprises.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you guys are a bit more optimistic than I am. So, I wish I was a bit more optimistic about this pay-per-view. It's not necessarily the matches itself are going to be bad. It's more a case of I find this all a tad predictable, and I've called it the speed bump on the road to WrestleMania. So, who cares? Elimination Chamber matches are usually pretty fun. I'm wrong to be pessimistic, and I think on that note, we'll wrap up our Elimination Chamber preview. So, after this short break, we have a new segment. Not necessarily weekly, we're just trialing it. You may like it, you may hate it, but we'll get your feedback shortly. And it's called Fight Me.
Hey you! If you like the podcast, then remember to like the Holy Shoot Wrestling Podcast on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Holy Shoot Pod. Do it! Do it now!
Gentlemen, we all have controversial opinions about the world of wrestling from now and again, so I thought it would be great if we could debate some of our opinions right now in a new segment called Fight Me. So here's how it will go down. We will take it in turns to give an opinion such as, I don't know, WWE should do more pay-per-views in Saudi Arabia. And then one of you two guys, whoever makes that statement would then say, fight me. So WWE should do more pay-per-views in Saudi Arabia, fight me. The first person to say, I'll fight you, will then have a debate about that person's point. The other person, out of the three of us, will judge who the winner is, not by the statement. So if they agree with the statement or disagree with the statement, it doesn't matter, but it's by the quality of the argument. So even if you disagree with that person's view, you may think that person's argument is better. Understood?
Understood.
Okay, so Jason, you had a very interesting one to begin with, so put it out there.
The Radicals, as a group, should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Fight me!
Oh, very aggressive. Chen, do you want to fight him, or shall I fight him? Did Chen die?
I'm thinking. You go first.
I'll fight
If
you,
you got
Jason.
an opinion.
So, before you fight me, should I explain my logic?
Yeah. I'll fight you, but you got to say why.
So I'm putting I want to put the Radicals into the Hall of Fame because I look at them as a group and think it's a great way to get these guys in. So if you look at the four of them, Eddie is already in the Hall of Fame. There's no debate there. He's a Hall of Famer. We can just say he's part of the group. He deserves to go in. Dean Malenko, once voted one of the greatest wrestler in the world. He never got much of a run in WWE, and he won multiple belts in WCW, on the cruiserweight side. An amazing wrestler, does a lot backstage. He could go in as a standard guy on his own, but it wouldn't be as interesting. Perry Saturn, similar thing, did a lot in ECW and WCW, but not a lot in WWE. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Chris Benoit. This is the controversial one. You struggle to put Chris Benoit in on his own, but you put him in as part of the Radicals, you're acknowledging the Radicals themselves. And you could say, yes, he won multiple belts, world titles, but you put the Radicals in because of how important and monumental that was when they showed up on Raw. And as a group, just pretty much tore the place down. And it was a monumental moment in terms of guys jumping from WCW to WWE and not the other way around. Fight me.
I disagree with you on so many levels. So aside from Eddie Guerrero, who had a worthy Hall of Fame career, let's break down the other three and what they actually accomplished in WWE. Dean Malenko, okay. For his achievements in WCW, I understand why you would want to put him in there. He was really good, man with the 1,000 holes or whatever. I mean, so good. Chris Jericho ripped him off. I would understand why you want to see Dean Malenko there. But in terms of his contribution to Vince McMahon's corporation, nada. At least in the ring. Perry Saturn, why? Seriously, why? I mean, he wasn't even that much of a big deal in WCW, so, he's pointless. And Chris Benoit, and this is the ultimate one. By putting this in, you're ultimately celebrating the murderer. And it's an excuse to put Benoit in. It's an excuse to put a murderer in. A well-known murderer. One who's tarnished it caused immense damage to the world of professional wrestling. The only good thing to come out of it is the fact that at least wrestlers in WWE are better taken care of when it comes to steroid abuse, drug abuse, and making sure that their health is in check with concussions and heart failure and stuff like that. But what he did was so unforgivable that by proxy you just cannot put the Radicals in, because even if you exclude Benoit from that list, it's not even a good group to put in. The only person that was of any remarkable note in the WWE, in the ring, on screen, was Eddie Guerrero, and he's already inducted, so it's ultimately pointless.
Do I get a rebuttal before Chen votes?
Yeah, go ahead and rebut.
So they don't put people in based on the WWE only. They put in guys from the NWA and WCW.
No, okay, that's fine, but still, that's just Guerrero and Malenko, not Saturn.
Perry Saturn, if you watched him, he was actually very important in ECW and then in WCW, and he had a great run.
But then you can just induct them individually if they're that important.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
By putting them in, you're putting Chris Benoit in. And that'll go against what they stood for, and it's one thing that I very much agree with WWE. He is a child murderer. He is a wife murderer. And let's not forget, he did bad things to his children and wife before, he cocked it. So, and they cocked it. So, no, absolutely no effing way that Benoit should ever be celebrated. And by putting the Radicals in, you are celebrating the murderer.
So, Chen, your decision.
So, did you guys not hear who the headliner this year is for the Hall of Fame? It's Perry Saturn. He'll be appearing with his mop. That stupid bloody gimmick.
Mopping!
What was that girl he had with him? Terry
Runnels.
Yeah, she was more famous than him.
Yep.
And when I think about while you two were debating, this is what pisses me off about the Hall of Fame. It's meant to be about what, in my opinion, it should be about what you've done in the WWE, not what you've done in other promotions.
In fairness,
only what you've done in WWE.
In defense of WWE owns WCW and ECW. So
okay, but let me finish. All right.
Yep.
Yes. When I think of two Hall of Famers when I watched the induction videos, one of them was DDP, and the other one was Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash said he didn't want to go in as Diesel. He wanted to go in as Kevin Nash because his career in the WWE was just rubbish and boring. But it was more about the impact he made in WCW. DDP, on the other hand, he had a great career in WCW, but did jack crap in the WWE. He only had that one feud with The Undertaker that lasted like 2 months. And that went nowhere, pretty much. And he's just more famous for his yoga. That's what it is. And this is why, going
off topic, Chen.
Why you're going to Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn, they might have done great things in other places, but in the WWE, nothing. And what Brod said about Benoit, I loved him as a wrestler and everything, but yeah, that's a no-go.
So you're agreeing with me, Chen?
Yeah.
Haha, 1-0 to the Broad.
Right, both of you outside now.
No, we're not your cat, Jason. We're not your cat, Jason.
Okay, fair enough.
So, Chen, do you want to go?
Yeah, and this is something that you brought up earlier when you said maybe of rumors of what a WrestleMania match will be.
Mm-hmm.
And that is you said Lita and Trish might be making an appearance.
Yep.
I'm just done with old. If you're retired, just stay retired, please. Stop. Let the new people shine. We can't evolve as a business if you keep bringing nostalgia back. We got to cater to the new fans.
So what's your statement then? And then say fight me.
My statement is let the old people retire. You don't always need to bring.
Stay retired. Is that what it is?
Stay retired. Yeah.
Stay retired.
Focus on building new stars and promote them on the big 4-5 pay-per-views that you have every year instead of bringing these old timers back and taking their spots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick and tired of this.
Okay, cool. Are you gonna say fight me? Because then
Fight me.
Oh, it's official. So Jason, do you want to take him up?
I will
Oh.
fight Chen to the death.
Oh, I gotta be judge.
I can get where Chen's coming from, but WrestleMania is the Super Bowl, the big show. It's where they get this kind of stuff in, and bringing these legends back, done in the right way, actually makes WrestleMania more special. I think when you look at what the likes of The Rock have done when they brought in big former stars for these big events, maybe Batista, it actually makes WrestleMania bigger. And even the likes of CM Punk have come out and said, even though they were against people like Rock coming back, they appreciated the amount of money it made them and the exposure it got them.
To be
from
fair,
that
these
exercise in
wrestlers
the
aren't
show.
retired. The Rock is not retired.
He pretty much was at that point. He'd been out of it for a long time. If you brought back Trish and Lita, you would be bringing in fans that maybe come away from the product and bringing them awareness of the new product. So for that reason, I think it's not an every pay-per-view thing. It's a Mania thing, and it makes sense.
Can I just say something? You know why you don't need Trish and Lita or old timers? Because even if you used to be a fan of the product, you still tune in for the WrestleMania, even if you don't follow the current product.
I don't think you do. That's why they do it. They bring back people that only come around for WrestleMania based on the strength of that card, and that's how they try and entice them into being longer term viewers again. So,
both you made your point.
Yeah, Rod, I'm done.
Chen, are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is difficult because I am fed up with part-timers too. I think part-timers are not a curse to this industry, but they've really held back the development of several years now, the development of future WWE stars. That no one has truly gotten over, and with the exception of the odd one like Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan or CM Punk, no one's really gotten that over. I have a fear the same will happen to Becky Lynch. With that being said, Jason is right. You need some of these guys to draw in the numbers. So, Chen, I agree with your statement, but Jason had the better argument.
Can I just say one thing?
Wins. No. The decision has been made. The decision. I allowed you to make one further point before, and unfortunately, you didn't take me up on it. So I have to go with Jason as a victor here. But Chen, I agree with you, but Jason had the better argument. So that means it's left with me. And they heard my warm-up act, and they were like, oh, no, I agree with that. So I've got something that's controversial. The Attitude Era is overrated. Fight me.
Chen, I feel like you should fight him because you've not had the chance.
I'll fight you. It's not overrated.
Okay.
It's
Chen,
not
overrated.
you wait.
Let Broad talk.
I have to make my points. So there's no getting over the fact that the main event scene of the Attitude Era is arguably the best scene in terms of talent and story. Fantastic stuff. Everything else is crap. I'm just saying it straight off the bat. Like, with the exception of a couple of tag teams here and there, everything else is crap. The matches are short. People complain about match quality today. Match quality is freaking fantastic in comparison to the Attitude Era. The moves that they do are way, way superior to what they did in WWF in the 90s. The storylines are absolutely crude. Women are treated like garbage except for China, which, mixed messages. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't let my children watch that. I mean, I don't have children, not yet anyway, not that I'm aware of, but I would never let my children watch, all the cussing, and it's just a vile product in general. And people say, oh, but the PG era sucks. No, not if you watched NXT or SmackDown recently. Both have been fine shows. Both have been good shows. Both have been very entertaining. The Attitude Era, it's just 5-minute matches after 5-minute matches until you get to a great main event. And don't get me wrong, the main event scene is fantastic, but everything underneath is just lacking in talent, both in the mic work, in charisma, poor characters. They were fun, but ultimately they were designed to never get over.
And yeah, the storylines are just half the storylines are just incredibly crude. And I don't understand why people try and compare everything to the Attitude Era when there's been better eras of wrestling before and after. There's been better
You have to wrap
promotion.
your point up, Rod.
Yeah, sorry, but Attitude Era is probably the most overrated era of all time.
So, Chen, your counter argument.
So I understand what you're saying. First of all, I just want to agree with you saying that yes, matches are much, much better now. Someone like Seth Rollins can run circles around someone like The Rock and Austin. Wrestling abilities, them two wouldn't even survive in today's wrestling
Roman
world.
Reigns would.
Rod, you have to let Chen talk.
I don't agree with Roman Reigns or John Cena. Like, to me, The Rock and Austin have like the wrestling ability of John Cena and Roman Reigns. However, I don't think it's overrated. I think it was definitely a great era. It's just the fans. They're stuck in nostalgia. They just want to go back to a time when they were feeling young and everything like that. They can't move on. Like, it's like when people say, like, if you're a football fan, oh, we need to, like a Liverpool fan, we need to return back to the glory days. Or even currently, I'm a Man U fan, and I'm saying we need to return back to the glory days. It's just, some people are just stuck in nostalgia and don't move along with the times. And that's a lot of people's problems. They don't move along with the times. Like, ECW would not exist today, in my opinion. And it shouldn't because of health hazards and everything like that. But obviously back then everything was a bit more edgy and everything. But we don't live in that world anymore. We live more in a PC world, a safe world. And the problem is, it's just the fans can't accept to move on along with the times. It's like a kid might go, you as a child might go to school and be like, you might be racist and everything, hang out with your own kind. But when they have children, the world's different. Their children are going to schools where everyone's mixed and stuff. And they're learning to make friends with other races and everything like that.
So
people just need to move along with the times.
I guess wrapping that up, I really wanted to agree with Chen, but I think he might have actually helped Brod's argument. I'm not sure how strong that was, because I get the thing in terms of, I think it's not so much the Attitude Era is overrated. It's just that people are a bit nostalgic and they forget about all the good stuff that happened at the same time. So this is a hard one to pick between the two of you. So Brod's saying it's overrated due to people are not looking at it all, and Chen saying it's because nostalgia.
It's the argument.
Oof, it's a hard one.
The wrestling's definitely better.
So Brod, just confirm, your main thing is it's overrated because people just think about the storylines and the big stuff. And Chen, your argument is that the wrestling was...
I'm saying half the storylines weren't good either.
I'm just saying it's down to people just staying in the past and not moving along with times.
So your argument is that you're not really arguing very well, Chen. You're arguing that...
No, I'm not.
So I'm going to have to go with Brod. The Attitude Era is overrated.
Yeah, boy. 2-0. 2-0. 2-0 in arguments. Just a little disclaimer. I don't think Steve Austin is overrated. And the reason why I think he's as good as Roman Reigns is...
as good as Roman Reigns? What?
Well, Roman Reigns is as good as Steve Austin. I got my words mixed up there.
Wow.
Hold up is because Steve Austin was limited after his neck injury. He was actually a very intelligent wrestler to do the stuff that he did. He was being safe. And that is a very intelligent thing. So actually, that was great wrestling.
I'm going to talk to Chris and have him produce some segments at the start of the show, which just has you saying that Roman Reigns is as good as Stone Cold Steve Austin, and just have it on a loop.
Look.
With next week's show.
Look, we need the listeners. I'm trying to trigger people, okay, into listening. But joking aside, Chen is very... I'm taking a win, but Chen is completely right on his point. That is more to do with the nostalgia thing. I don't think the Attitude Era is that overrated. I'm just being extreme for the hell of it. But yeah.
Well done.
Yep, that was the point. I only was doing that for the argument. I actually don't think the Attitude Era is that overrated. But yeah, that would be for a different time. So, after all that, we have even more opinions up next as we conclude with our weekly segment, The Ring of Dishonor.
The Ring of Dishonor.
Lastly, it's the return of our weekly segment to close the show, the Ring of Dishonor. For those who haven't joined us on the podcast before, it's like Room 101, but wrestling in an audio format. Each week, one of us will nominate something that they would like to see enter the Ring of Dishonor. The other two people on the podcast will decide if it is worthy, or shall we say unworthy enough, to enter the Ring of Dishonor. Jason, since you broke the wheel yet again, and Chen is also really, really angry after that Fight Me segment, and he wants to do another one, we decided that Chen has something to submit this week for the Ring of Dishonor. So, Chen, what shall me and Jason be judging in terms of what comes out of your mouth in the next minute or so?
Okay, so I don't know how to phrase this, but it's about wrestlers who are either outside the WWE promotion or coming from NXT. When they get called up or come into the WWE main roster, they shouldn't start at the top, the very top. They should start right at the bottom, and they shouldn't always have like a big push behind them. I'll give you an example. So I came up with this idea is because when EC3 faced Dean Ambrose and he just lost out of the blue, I was really happy about that. I was like, let EC3 reintroduce himself, start from the bottom, establish himself, don't always have the big push behind him, but make people favor him in that way. And also, it's just like when we heard about Lars Sullivan getting the big push to fight John Cena at WrestleMania. I'm sick of tired of these people who are not proven on the main roster, getting this such a big push and a high spot in the card when they haven't, when pretty much half the audience doesn't even know who they are. And this could be like, for example, a Kenny Omega coming into the main roster. I don't want him to go be fighting for the title straight away. I need him to build a rapport. What's the word? Is it build a
Reputation?
Reputation within the WWE universe? Reintroduce himself, make people like him or people hate him. Either way, you just don't go straight to the top.
Okay, I just want to.
People who've been in the business longer on the main roster should get the push more.
So, I have two people straight off the bat that counter that: Kevin Owens and AJ Styles.
Yeah, I was going to go same thing. I mean, and Kevin Owens is a little bit different because Kevin Owens was in NXT. AJ went straight to the main roster rather than going to NXT.
Yep.
So he's a guy of a massive reputation. Are you saying he should have been at the lower card, or are you talking about NXT guys in particular?
I think it was fine. For example, with AJ, he feuded with Chris Jericho, right?
Yeah.
But then after the Jericho, he went straight for the main title against Roman Reigns. And even though he lost, I still think he shouldn't have gone for that. He should have stayed on the lower card, big card,
Why?
build up his fan base.
But you already had a fan base. When he came out of the Rumble, the crowd exploded.
Yeah, but those are the hardcore audience. I'm talking about with the casual audience and everything. Because if I was a wrestler, like for example, Kofi Kingston, right? He's in this Elimination Chamber. I'm happy for him, right? But before, Mustafa Ali took his spot, a bloody nobody. Mustafa Ali should have built himself up more.
So you want to have a glass ceiling that no one gets past?
I need people to respect the hierarchy.
The hierarchy.
You go for it.
So, okay. Kevin Owens beating John Cena on his first night was the best way for him to ever get over. It made him a star instantly. AJ Styles, Vince McMahon wanted him on the mid card. There's no denying that. But 2 months of realizing of holy shit, this guy's super talented. Holy shit, maybe he deserves to be in the main event. We'll test him out against Roman Reigns. Great reactions. Fine. We'll have him beat John Cena. Beats John Cena. Then he beats Dean Ambrose to become WWE champion. At the end of the year, t-shirt sales wise, Roman Reigns was number 1. Number 2 was AJ Styles. I mean, it makes sense if you have the guy there that is incredibly talented like AJ Styles, you put him near the top. If you have a guy like Kevin Owens who is incredibly talented, you put him near the top. Sure, not every guy or every tag team is going to be on that same level.
I mean, a good example would be
Ryback.
Yeah, but Ryback was a slow climber.
Well, I think Tyler Breeze would be an example. He wasn't pushed to the top.
Yeah, Tyler Breeze wasn't. Tyler Breeze, Ty Dillinger, Sanity. Loads of guys get equally ignored as go straight to the top. You know.
Well,
I
if you
don't
look
think,
at the
I'm
current
not
top-
claiming there's a logic to it, because with Vince McMahon, I don't think there's a week-to-week logic, if I'm honest.
If you look at
He
the
just
current
likes the
crop
guys
of
he
guys,
likes.
right? If
What?
you look at the current crop that's just come up, they've not started at the top, and we feel like EC3 has been damaged. Maybe I don't know. I feel like he's been damaged, and Nikki Cross in particular, they're losing matches.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I mean, Nikki Cross lost a lot of matches in NXT, to be fair, and still got over. So I think she just needs a storyline.
Because
Eh,
also you
EC
gotta understand, the main roster is about character based, not wrestling based.
And EC3 is all about character. Have you seen any of his mic work in Impact? He is one of the best mic workers on the fucking planet.
I mean, I'm going to call Chen out here.
Yeah.
And we call Chen out. Chen, you don't watch NXT every week. You only watch takeovers, right?
Yeah. But I've seen
EC3 is
EC3.
you're
I've
missing
seen
out on how
EC3's
good these guys
promos. I know
shows are
how
gonna
good he's
be.
on the promo.
EC3 is top 1% of mic work. Pun intended, but it's actual fact. EC3 is probably top 5 on the mic in the company. And it's ridiculous that he's giving him a mute gimmick.
I think
EC3 on his mic skill alone puts him in the upper mid card.
so. I think as people watch NXT every week, well, I think we're never going to agree with Chen on this in terms of some guys will come in lower. Ty Dillinger came in a bit lower. He didn't deserve to be higher. But if Aleister Black comes over and they've got him on fucking main event, I will not be happy.
Same, because Black is a future main eventer. But here's something for you, Chen. Here's another 3 guys that went straight to the top. The Shield.
Yeah, but they were in tag team matches or interfered before.
Yeah, they were in the main event, had an undefeated streak for 6 months, beat up the likes of John Cena, Sheamus
Won the
was in
tag
the main event.
belts, won the US belt.
Ryback was one of the hottest things. Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan.
But they
and Kane.
weren't main eventing.
They were near enough main eventing.
Unless they interfered.
But no one climbed straight to the main event. But the Shield as a group probably were the earmarked for future main event, and the way they got over was near the top of the card each and every week.
Finn Balor went straight to the top.
Yeah, and
You shouldn't
I
have
thought
done.
that was silly.
I think he should have done. If that injury hadn't happened, he'd have been a long reigning US Universal Champ.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Chen, I get your point about they shouldn't all go to the top and they should be at different levels, but some guys are just so damn talented. You're leaving money on the table if you don't put them up straight away.
Yep, like they're doing with EC3 right now. So I'm gonna kick this off, Jason. It's a hard no from me. It's not entering.
It's a hell no.
Chan, you lose.
Sorry, Chen.
We love you, Chan, but you lose. Sorry. Actually, I don't love you. Happy
Try harder
Valentine's
next
Day.
time.
Wow, savage, Jason. So there you have it. The Ring of Honor does not get another victim. The Ring of Honor? Damn it. Copyright infringement. The Ring of Dishonor does not get another victim this week.
We're going to be sued now.
Yeah, we're going to be sued big time. Whoops. I'm sure they're going to come after our podcast. But anyway, join us.
They know we got the money.
Yeah, our bank account minus £5. Brilliant. So next week, join us for our review of WWE Elimination Chamber 2019, as well as some other stuff that we want to talk about. But that's all from us here at Holy Shoot. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember to subscribe to us on all good podcast outlets, and give us a follow on Twitter at Holy Shoot Pod, and like us on Facebook. And also, if you're on iTunes, feel free to give us a cheeky 5 stars if you love this podcast. But anyway, that is the bottom line, because this pod said so.